year so far in the presidential campaign. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In a vicious, utterly false attack on Senator Marco Rubio, the head of the Democratic National Committee, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, has reached a new low in political attack discourse. Earlier this week, the Senator, Rubio, held a fundraiser at the Dallas home of real estate guy Harlan Crow. Mr. Crow has one of the biggest private collections of historical memorabilia in the world. The collection includes items from the Third Reich, including stuff from Hitler. Wasserman Schultz used that historical collection to smear Rubio. Quote, Rubio is holding this event on the eve of the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur. Holding an event in a house featuring the artwork and signed autobiography of a man who dedicated his life to extinguishing the Jewish people is the height of insensitivity and indifference. There's really no excuse for such a gross act of disrespect. Mr. Rubio, who, by the way, represents a sizable Jewish population in our home state of Florida, should cancel this tasteless fundraiser. It is astounding that the presence of these items that represent horror for millions of Jews the world over would not stop Mr. Rubio or anyone on his team in their tracks when planning this event. What is truly astounding is the woman's ignorance. I've been to Harlan Crow's home, and I have seen his collection of history. It's amazing. Any museum would be proud to display what he has. Both good and evil are represented in an educational way. There are documents and letters from crucial moments in American history, as well as world history. They include items from villains such as Hitler, Stalin, Tojo, and Saddam Hussein. If you follow Wasserman Schultz's reasoning, no politician could hold an event in, say, the Imperial War Museum in London, for example. Her take is truly insane. By attacking Rubio using the Holocaust, the head of the DNC has shamed herself and her party. She should immediately resign. There comes a point when politics gets so dirty, it corrupts the nation. We are at this point. It's not just the Democrats who are using despicable tactics, although they seem to embrace them at a very high level. Some Republicans are comfortable using falsehood and innuendo to smear liberals. And when Talking Point sees that from the GOP, it will be reported. Summing up, there's no place for defamatory deceit in any political campaign. The presidential race now underway has the potential to get very nasty, and we will fight against that. We begin with Debbie Wasserman Schultz this evening. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Washington is Senator Marco Rubio. So when you heard the head of the DNC say these things and use the Holocaust to attack you, which is exactly what she did, how did you react?
Well, it didn't surprise me. I've been watching Debbie Wasserman Schultz for years in Florida. On top of her political extremism, she tends to do these sorts of things. I was outraged because this is a private citizen, an individual who participates in the political process, who anyone who knows him for 2 seconds realizes he's not a Nazi sympathizer. In fact, as what's been reported, you said he's a collector. His mother survived a German U-boat attack under the Nazis. But it is a despicable attack, and you know what the evidence of that is? Even liberal media outlets have criticized her for doing that. Don't expect an apology. They just move on. They don't feel like they're accountable to anybody for it. But I think it also is indicative of the levels of desperation that have now entered the Democratic Party. Their front runner is in a lot of trouble, as we've been seeing in the news over the last few days. And I think this is further sign of that sort of desperation that they're now facing.